I'm Anna Harper, 28, standing in the Seattle-Tacoma airport, my breath fogging up the window as planes slip through a rare sprinkle of snow. The flakes catch the runway lights, glinting like tiny stars against the usual gray drizzle. My boarding pass to Detroit feels heavier than it should, my stomach churning with a mix of hope and something close to dread. Seattle's been my safe place for 3 years, a marketing job at Horizon Digital that keeps me sane, colleagues who actually get me, a cramped apartment, pricey as hell, with a sliver of Puget Sound view that's more home than the big house. I grew up back in Pinewood, Michigan. But last week, Dad's voice on the phone, rough and almost pleading, hit me hard. Anna, honey, we miss you. Come home for Christmas. Please. I couldn't say no. My phone buzzes as I hover by the gate. It's Maya, my Seattle lifeline, texting, stay strong. Anna. I manage a half smile, typing back, I'll try. Maya gets why I left a city where nobody knows your old screw-ups. Like that time I crashed my bike in 4th grade and half the town talked about it for a month. Pinewood, population 8,352, is that kind of place where every neighbor remembers your kindergarten teacher. My parents, James and Margaret Harper, are practically its pulse. Dad runs the hardware store, a stubborn family hand-me-down for 3 generations. Mom's been teaching 3rd grade at Pinewood Elementary for 25 years, shaping kids before they learn to hide who they are. My brother Ethan handles Dad's books, married his high school sweetheart Laura, and settled 3 streets over. My sister, Sarah, 2 years older, was always the star homecoming queen, valedictorian, married her college boyfriend David Collins, and now runs events at the community center. She played life by Mom's rulebook. Me. I was the piece that never quite fit. I always dreamed of a place where nobody knew my name. In high school, while Sarah nailed cheerleading routines and organized bake sales, I hid in the school newspaper, scribbling stories and imagining a city big enough to lose myself in. The tension started small mom's eye rolls when I picked journalism over teaching like her. Little jabs about how brave I was to want out of Pinewood. The real break came at my college graduation dinner. Sarah, 6 months pregnant, turned it into her baby's gender reveal. Mom gushed over nursery colors. Dad tried to steer things back. But when I got upset, Sarah called me jealous. Mom backed her up. Dad just slipped me some cash for my unpaid internship, saying, for when things get tight. His peacemaking couldn't patch the cracks. 2 weeks later, I took a job in Seattle. Calls faded. Texts dried up. I skipped 3 Thanksgivings, blaming work, but really dodging the hurt that always came with going home. This Christmas, Dad's call was different, his voice heavy with something I hadn't heard in years. I booked the flight, took time off, packed gifts, coffee beans for Dad, a hand-woven scarf for Mom, wooden toys for Ethan's kids, Sophie and Liam, and a signed event planning book for Sarah, snagged through a work buddy. I told myself I was ready, rehearsed small talk, braced for the usual tension. But as the plane dips toward Detroit, my heart whispers, you can't outrun family. The 6-hour drive to Pinewood feels like a dream I can't wake from. Flat Midwest fields, dusted with snow, roll past, so different from Seattle's jagged mountains. Christmas lights flicker on familiar storefronts. The town square's giant pine tree decked out just like when I was a kid. I pull over at a gas station a block from my parents' house, needing a minute to steady myself. My reflection in the car window looks tired. Snowflakes catching in my hair like they're trying to pin me down. I text Dad, here. Be there in 5. His reply pings back instantly. Can't wait, honey. I grab the gift bags. Their weight heavier than just paper and ribbon, and trudge toward the house I grew up in. The house hasn't changed in 30 years, white lights tracing the porch, Dad's. Hand-carved nativity seen by the steps, wreaths on every window. It's comforting and scary all at once, like stepping into a memory that might spit you out. Snow falls heavier now, crunching under my boots, stinging my face. I'm about to ring the doorbell when sharp voices stop me cold. Through the frosted glass, I catch Sarah's silhouette, gesturing like she's slicing the air. She's not part of this family anymore, Sarah says, her voice low but sharp enough to cut. It's what your father wants. Mom replies, her tone clipped, like she's just going through the motions. My stomach twists. A cold heavier than the snow settling in my chest. I almost turn back, but Dad's text glows on my phone, pulling me forward. I take a deep breath, force a shaky smile, and ring the doorbell. The chime echoes, too loud in the quiet night. The door swings open, and Sarah stands there. Blonde curls perfect, green dress hugging her post-baby figure. The Christmas tree's lights glint in her eyes for a split second before they narrow. We don't want you here, she says, voice like ice. Go ruin someone else's holiday. Her words hit like a slap. I glimpse past her. The dining table set with Mom's best china. The fancy kind with hand-painted flowers she only uses for big occasions. Dad's carving turkey. Sleeves rolled up like every Christmas. I can remember. Mom's arranging cranberry sauce in her crystal dish. Ethan and Laura sit with Sophie, 5, and Liam, 3, fussing with napkins. Grandma Eleanor's silver hair catches the chandelier light. Uncle Henry and Aunt Clara sip wine. Laughing. It's picture perfect, but I'm not in the picture. They're sharing stories, laughing, living without me, like my absence is just how things should be. The smell of roasted turkey, sage stuffing, and Grandma's sweet potato pie drifts out. A cruel stab at the Christmases I've lost. Got it. I whisper, my voice breaking. Sarah doesn't soften, just stares, hand on the doorknob, waiting for me to go. Nobody at the table looks up. I step back, nearly slipping on the icy porch, the gifts feeling stupid in my arms. What was I thinking? That some bright paper and ribbons could make me belong again? Sarah holds my gaze for another agonizing second before closing the door. The latch clicks, loud as a gunshot in my chest. I stand frozen, snow piling on my hair and coat. The windows glow with warm light, shadows moving behind curtains completely separate from me. The porch lights blink on, cheery and clueless. The walk back to my rental car feels like forever, each step sinking in the snow, heavier than my heart. I set the gifts on the passenger seat and slide behind the wheel. My hands shake too much to start the engine. I sit there, breath fogging the windows, shutting me off from the house I used to call home. The tightness in my chest makes breathing hard. I press my forehead against the steering wheel, tears coming quietly at first, then in sobs that shake me to my core. 3 years of building my own life, and this is what waits when I come back. I'm ready to drive off, find a hotel, catch the first flight back to Seattle when the front door flies open. Dad rushes out, no coat, dress shoes slipping in the snow, his voice breaking through the quiet. Anna, honey, wait. He reaches my car, knocking softly on the window. I roll it down, avoiding his eyes. Honey, please come inside, he says, bending to meet my gaze, his breath clouding in the cold. Sarah had no right to say that. It's clear how they feel. Dad, I say, my voice hollow. He shakes his head, snow dusting his gray hair. No, your mom and I have been counting the days. Ethan, too. Even Grandma asked when you get here. Not Sarah. I say Dad sighs, his shoulders sagging. She's got her own troubles. That doesn't make it right, but she's struggling. Her life's not as perfect as it looks. That doesn't make it okay. I say, my voice steadier. No, it doesn't, Dad says, his tone firm. But don't let her push you away from the rest of us. His words hang in the snowy air, heavy with years of him trying to hold us together. He's always been the one to smooth things over, slipping me cash in college, hanging my first article in his store despite Mom's shrugs. I look at him, snow soaking his shirt, and nod slowly. Okay, for you. Dad's hand on my shoulder feels like the only thing tethering me to this house as we walk back. Through the snow, the porch lights blink on, their cheery glow mocking the knot in my chest. The nativity scene he carved when I was a kid stands stubborn by the steps. Dusted with fresh flakes, I clutch the gift bags tighter, their weight no match for the heaviness of stepping back into a place that just spit me out. Sarah's words, "We don't want you here," echo in my head, sharp as the snow stinging my face. Dad opens the door, and the warm air hits me, thick with the smell of roasted turkey and sage stuffing. It's the smell of every Christmas I can remember, but tonight it feels like a stranger's house. Inside, the hallway hasn't changed, lined with family photos in the same order they've always been me as a gap-toothed kid. Sarah in her homecoming crown, Ethan at his wedding. My college graduation pictures there now, tucked at the end like an afterthought. The Christmas tree stands in its usual corner, lights twinkling, ornaments dangling with 40 years of Harper family history. But their glow feels out of reach, like I'm looking through a window at someone else's life. The dining room's just ahead. The table set with Mom's fancy china, the kind with hand-painted flowers she only pulls out for big nights. Laughter spills from the room, mixed with the clink of glasses and white Christmas still spinning on Dad's old record player. My stomach churns, colder than the snow piling outside. Mom's standing in the doorway, arms crossed, her face a mix of things I can't read: disappointment, maybe, or just obligation. "Anna, come in before you catch cold," she says, her voice clipped like she's checking a box. Not the welcome I'd hoped for, but it's something. Dad guides me inside, his hands steady on my back, and I set the gifts under the tree, each one feeling more foolish than the last coffee beans for Dad, a scarf for Mom, toys for Sophie and Liam, a signed book for Sarah. I'd spent weeks picking them, thinking they might bridge the gap. Now they just feel like props in a play nobody invited me to. The dining room's a glow of chandelier light and candle flames, but the air's heavy, like everyone's holding their breath. Ethan waves awkwardly from his seat. "Hey, Anna." His wife Laura gives a warm smile, the kind that tries to make things okay. Sophie and Liam, their kids, look up from their napkins. Sophie's eyes wide and curious, like she's trying to figure out who I am. Grandma Eleanor sits at the head, her silver hair catching the light, her presence steady as always. Uncle Henry and Aunt Clara sip wine, their laughter fading as I walk in. Sarah's at the far end, staring at her plate. David beside her, his. Not quick and uncomfortable. The table's set for family, but I feel like a guest who showed up uninvited. "Anna, sit by Grandma," Mom says, her voice forcing brightness. Dad pulls out a chair, as far from Sarah as the table allows a small mercy. I sit, the smell of turkey and sweet potato pie hitting me harder now. A cruel stab of the Christmases I've missed. The food gets passed round, plates clinking in. The quiet, but nobody's saying much. Snow piles against the windows, thicker now, like it's trying to bury me outside the family's glow. I fill my plate, not hungry, just going through the motions. Grandma Eleanor pats my hand under the table, her touch warm, like she knows how hard this is. "So, Anna," Aunt Clara says, her voice too bright, like she's trying to break the ice. "How's Seattle treating you?" "It's good," I say, grabbing the lifeline. "Rainy, but the mountains are something else." "Must be lonely out there without family," Sarah says, her smile sharp, like she's tossing a dart. "All that rain, no one to share it with." The words land like a jab, and I force a smile, my jaw tight. "I manage," I say, keeping it short. Dad shoots Sarah a look, but she just passes the potatoes, her eyes never leaving her plate. I remember high school, Sarah in her cheerleading uniform, Mom clapping like she'd won the lottery, while my newspaper articles got a pat on the head and "that's nice, dear." The memory stings, sharper now in this room where I'm supposed to belong. Dinner limps along. The conversation a patchwork of safe topics: Spinewood's winter festival, Ethan's new accounting software, Sophie's school play. Mom steers every thread back to Sarah's work at the community center, her voice lighting up in a way it never does for me. Sarah's planning the best festival yet, she says, slicing her turkey with precision. The whole town's talking about it. I nod, my smile aching, wondering if Mom even remembers my promotion at Horizon Digital. Dad tries to bridge the gap, asking about my latest project. But Mom cuts in with another Sarah story, and the table hums along without me. The Christmas tree's lights flicker, their warmth taunting me from across the room. I'm back at my graduation dinner, Mom's eyes glued to Sarah as she announced her baby's gender. My diploma just a prop on the table. I'd sat there, swallowing hurt, while Sarah soaked up the spotlight. Now, as I push peas around my plate, that old ache creeps back, heavier than ever. Snow presses against the windows, a silent wall between me and the family I came back for. Sarah stands, tapping her glass with a spoon, her face breaking into a radiant smile I haven't seen all night. David and I have news, she says, her voice cutting through the room. We're expecting again. Baby number 3, due next summer. The table erupts. Mom gasps, her eyes shining. Ethan claps David on the back. Clara raises her glass. Sophie tugs Laura's sleeve, asking what it means, and even Eleanor's smiling, her hands clasped like it's the best gift of the night. Another grandbaby, Mom says, her voice thick with joy. This is what Christmas is all about. I force a smile, my chest tight. Happy for Sarah, but drowning in the way her news pushes me further out of the picture. Her eyes meet mine, a flicker of triumph, like she's staking her claim as the heart of this family. There's plenty of pie for everyone, Eleanor says, her voice warm but firm, like she's trying to pull us back together. Dad nods, his eyes on me, apologetic. Let's just enjoy the meal, he says, his tone soft but pleading. But the air's heavier now. Sarah's announcement hanging like a curtain between me and the rest of them. The Christmas tree's lights keep twinkling, but they're as far away as Seattle. I set my fork down, the weight of being here, of not belonging, pressing harder than the snow outside. I'm ready to make an excuse, slip out, and drive away. When Sophie looks at me, her small voice barely audible. Are you staying, Aunt Anna? Her question catches me off guard, a tiny crack in the wall I've been staring at all night. I don't know how to answer, not with Sarah's eyes still on me, not with the ache of 3 years pulling me back to the car. But her words, innocent and raw, keep me in my seat, at least for now. Sophie's small voice, are you staying, Aunt Anna? Hangs in the air, a fragile thread keeping me tethered to the dining room table. Her wide eyes, so much like Ethan's when we were kids, make my chest ache with something I can't name. I want to say yes, to promise her I'll stay, but Sarah's sharp glance cuts through the candlelight, and the weight of the night presses heavier. The Christmas tree's lights flicker in the corner, their glow taunting me, like they're shining for everyone but me. Snow piles thicker against the windows, a silent wall sealing me out of the warmth I came back for. I force a smile, my jaw tight, and nod at Sophie. I'm here for now, I say, my voice barely steady. She grins, but Sarah's face stays hard, like she's daring me to belong. Dinner drags on, the clink of forks and glasses filling the quiet where conversation should be. The smell of turkey and sweet potato pie lingers, a cruel reminder of Christmases when I still felt like part of this family. Mom passes the cranberry sauce, her movements precise, her eyes avoiding mine. She's always been good at that, looking right through me when Sarah's in the room. I remember my high school newspaper awards, Mom giving me a quick "that's nice, dear," while she framed Sarah's cheerleading trophies like they were museum pieces. The memory stings, sharper now as I sit here, surrounded by faces that should feel like home but don't. You must miss Pinewood's sense of family, Sarah says. her voice sweet but sharp, like a knife wrapped in sugar. She's passing the rolls, her smile tight, eyes locked on me for a second too long. Seattle's so big. So I detached. My fork pauses midair, the jab landing square in my chest. I've got people in Seattle, I say, keeping it short. But my voice betrays a crack. Maya's face flashes in my mind. Her last text stays strong. Anna, a lifeline I'm clinging to. Sarah just shrugs, like she's won a point, and turns to David, who's focused on cutting Liam's turkey. Dad catches my eye, his look apologetic, but he doesn't say anything. He's always been the peacemaker, trying to smooth over the cracks without breaking the table. Ethan tries to change the subject, asking about Seattle's sports teams. But Mom steers it back to Sarah's work at the community center. Sarah's got the winter festival running like clockwork, she says, her voice lighting up, the way it never does for my marketing projects. The whole town's buzzing about it. I nod, my smile aching, wondering if she even knows I landed the big Westbrook account last month. Dad tries again, asking about my job, but Mom cuts in with another Sarah story, and the table hums along, leaving me on the outside. The chandelier light glints off the china, the hand-painted flowers mocking me with their perfection. Snow presses against the windows, heavier now, like it's trying to bury me for good. We move to the living room for gifts, the kids scrambling, close to the Christmas tree, their excitement the only thing cutting through the tension. I hand out my presents, each one feeling more foolish than the last coffee beans for Dad. A scarf for Mom, toys for Sophie, and Liam, a signed book for Sarah. I'd spent weeks picking them, thinking they might mean something. Now they feel like apologies for a crime I didn't commit. Dad's eyes light up at the coffee. His Seattle beans, warm and genuine. Mom thanks me for the scarf, but her "I've got so many already" lands like a polite dismissal. Ethan and Laura love the kids' toys, but Sarah's quick to point out they might be cheap imports. Her book sits unopened, her thanks. I'll pass it to the community center, cutting deeper than I expected. Then it's my turn. Mom and Dad hand me a gift card to a restaurant chain. That doesn't even exist in Seattle. Like they don't know where I've been for 3 years. Ethan and Laura give a generic candle set, the kind you grab last minute. But Sarah's gift hits hardest, a Pinewood high sweatshirt. Size small, when she knows damn well I wear large. Thought it'd remind you of home, she says, her smile sharp as ever. The room goes quiet, everyone catching the jab. The sweatshirt sits in my lap, a loud reminder I don't fit here anymore. I remember Sarah's high school days, Mom, cheering her every win. While my articles got a nod at best, the ache of that memory burns. As fresh now as it was then. Let's just enjoy the meal, Dad says, his voice soft but pleading, trying to pull us back together. Grandma Eleanor nods, her silver hair catching the tree's lights. Let's not ruin the pie with all this fuss, she says, her tone warm but firm, like she's seen too many family fights to let this one fester. I try to focus on Sophie and Liam, their giggles as they tear into wrapping paper. But Sarah's quick to redirect their attention, like I'm an intruder in their world. The Christmas tree's lights keep twinkling. They warm the world away from me. I'm reaching for my wine glass, my hand shaky from holding it all in, when it slips. Red wine splashing across the cream-colored carpet. My cheeks burn, the old embarrassment flooding back, like when I broke Mom's favorite vase at 14. I'm so sorry, I say, grabbing a napkin, blotting the stain like it'll fix everything. Always making a mess, Anna, Sarah says, her sigh heavy with years of judgment. Some things never change. The room freezes, even Sophie's giggles stopping. Mom's lips pressed tight, her eyes on the carpet, not me. Ethan shifts uncomfortably, Laura squeezing his hand. Dad's already standing, saying, "It's just a spill. Let's move on." But the damage is done. The stain spreads, red and ugly, like the hurt I've been carrying. Snow presses harder against the windows. A cold mirror to the chill in the room. I keep blotting, my face hot, feeling 14 again, the kid who could never get it right. I'm ready to grab my coat, slip out, and drive away. The car keys in my pocket, heavier than ever. The Christmas tree's lights blink on, oblivious. And I wonder if I was wrong to come back at all. Sarah's words, always making a mess. Anna, hang in the room like smoke, choking out the last bits of warmth from the Christmas tree's lights. I'm still kneeling by the carpet, blotting the wine stain, my cheeks burning like I'm 14 again. Breaking Mom's favorite vase and hearing her sigh that same disappointed sigh. The chandelier glints off the china, the hand-painted flowers, mocking me with their perfection. Snow presses harder against the windows, a cold wall sealing me out of the family I came back for. Sophie's small question, "Are you staying?" And Anna echoes in my head, but Sarah's jab cuts deeper, a fresh wound on top of 3 years of scars. I set the napkin down, my hands shaking, and stand up, the weight of it all too heavy to carry anymore. I'm done, I say, my voice low but steady, surprising even me. The room goes quiet, forks pausing, eyes turning my way. The Christmas tree's lights flicker, their glow still out of reach, like they're shining for everyone but me. For 3 years, I've tried to stay connected, calling, texting, sending gifts for every birthday and holiday. I invited you to Seattle, and nobody came. I've taken every jab, every hint that my life's wrong because it's not here, not like Sarah's. And tonight, I get told at the door I'm not wanted. I'm done pretending it's okay. My words spill out, raw and sharp, like the snow stinging my face hours ago. Sarah's eyes narrow, her mouth a tight line, but she doesn't look away. Mom's lips part, her face flushed like she's been. Caught a Dad's hands grip the table, his knuckles white, his eyes pleading for calm. Ethan shifts in his seat, Laura squeezing his hand, while Sophie and Liam watch wide-eyed, like they're seeing a storm roll in. Grandma Eleanor leans forward, her silver hair catching the light, her gaze steady as ever. Uncle Henry and Aunt Clara exchange looks, their wine glasses forgotten. The room feels like it's holding its breath, the air thick with years of things. Unsaid. Sarah stands, her chair scraping the floor, her voice sharp. You always make it about you, Anna. Even now, you're turning my moment into your drama. Your moment, I say, my voice cracking but holding. You've had every moment, Sarah. Every Christmas, every dinner, every bit of Mom's pride. I've been out there, trying to build something. And all I get is Seattle must be lonely or a sweatshirt to sizes too small. Like you don't even know who I am anymore. I'm shaking now. The words pouring out like water from a broken dam. I see it again, my graduation dinner. Mom's eyes lit up for Sarah's baby news. My diploma just a prop on the table. The memory burns, as fresh as the wine stain on the carpet. You've all made it clear I don't fit here, I say, looking at each of them. Dad, you've tried, and I love you for it. But you let this happen, tiptoeing around the truth. Mom, you've never once been proud of me the way you are of Sarah. Ethan, you stay quiet. And that's just picking a side. And Sarah, you've been pushing me away since high school. And I don't know why. The silence is heavy, the Christmas tree's lights blinking like they're mocking us. Snow piles against the windows, thicker now, like it's trying to bury this moment. Grandma Eleanor clears her throat, her voice steady but sharp. Anna's right. Family isn't about being close by, it's about acceptance. And we've failed her there. Sarah's face twists, like she's been slapped. She paces a step, then stops, her voice breaking. It's easier to push you away than admit. I'm jealous, okay? You're out there in Seattle, free, with your big job and your big life. I'm stuck here, planning the same festival for years, watching David's company fall apart. I tried for a marketing job in Grand Rapids, used your work as a guide, and didn't even get a call back. Her words crack open, raw and unsteady, like the snow finally breaking underfoot. I'm stunned, my anger faltering. I never thought Sarah, with her perfect Pinewood life, could envy me. The room stays quiet, everyone processing her confession. Mom's eyes glisten, her hands clasped tight, like she's holding something in. Anna, she says, her voice wavering, I've been hard on you. I think I pushed you because I wished I'd been braver when I was young. I had a job offer in Chicago after college, but I stayed here for Sarah. Seeing you live that life, it made me question mine. Her words hit like a quiet shock, a piece of mom I never knew. I see her younger, holding a letter, her dreams slipping away as she chose Pinewood. The ache in my chest shifts, not gone but different. Dad stands, his voice firm. We need to fix this, all of us. No more pretending. Anna, will you stay? His question hangs, heavy with years of him trying to hold us together. I look at the Christmas tree. Its lights still distant, but flickering with something like hope. Snow falls softer now, like it's listening. I nod slowly. I'll stay, for now. The Christmas tree's lights still flicker in my mind as I sit in my Seattle apartment. Weeks after that brutal Pinewood dinner, staring at my laptop screen. Snow dusts the Puget Sound outside, lighter than Michigan's heavy drifts. But it still feels like it's trying to bury something. The video call window glows. Dr. Ellis's face calm and steady, her glasses catching the light from some office I'll never see. Dad's idea of family therapy felt like a long shot when he suggested it that night. His voice firm with a hope I wasn't sure I shared. We need to fix this, all of us. But here I am, back in Seattle, joining the Harpers for our first session, my stomach churning, colder than the snow outside. 3 years of hurt sit heavy in my chest, and I'm not sure a Zoom call can chip away at it. The laptop screen splits into squares Dad and Mom in Pinewood's living room. The same couch I used to sprawl on as a kid, now looking worn under. The Christmas lights still strung up from the holidays. Sarah's there too, her blonde curls looser, her face less sharp but still guarded. Ethan and Laura sit close, their kids Sophie and Liam out of frame, probably playing nearby. Grandma, Eleanor's in her armchair, her silver hair catching the light, her presence steady as always. David's beside Sarah, quiet, his eyes on his hands. Dr. Ellis, with her warm but no-nonsense vibe, starts us off, her voice clear through my headphones. Let's name the patterns here. Anna, you spoke up last time. Can you start? I take a breath, the Puget Sound glinting outside, a world away from Pinewood's snow-covered fields. I've felt like an outsider for years, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Every call, every text, every gift I sent it was like shouting into a void. I came back for Christmas thinking it'd be different, but Sarah told me at the door I wasn't wanted. And Mom, I pause, the ache of that night flooding back, the wine stains spreading on the carpet. Mom's always made it clear Sarah's the one who got it right. Mom's face flinches on the screen, her lips pressing tight, like she's swallowing something bitter. Sarah shifts, her eyes dropping to her lap. Dad's hand twitches, like he wants to reach out but can't through the pixels. The Christmas lights behind them flicker, their glow softer now, like they're listening. I see that dinner against Sarah's sharp smile, Mom's eyes skipping over me. The sweatshirt to sizes too small. The memory burns, as raw as the cold. That night, I just wanted to belong, I say, my voice cracking. But it's like I'm not part of the picture anymore. Dr. Ellis nods, her glasses glinting. Sarah, what do you hear in Anna's words? Sarah's quiet for a long moment, the silence heavy even through the screen. Snow falls lighter outside my window, like it's holding its breath too. I called you once. She says finally, her voice low, unsteady. When I was pregnant. With Sophie, I was scared, and I needed you. You didn't pick up. Her words hit like a quiet punch. I remember that call, my phone buzzing during a late night at Horizon Digital, deadlines piling up. I'd meant to call back, but days turned to weeks, and it slipped away. The guilt stings, sharper than the snow outside. I didn't know it meant that much, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. I was trying to survive out here. Sarah's eyes meet the camera, softer but still guarded. You make it look easy, Anna. Seattle. Your big job. Your freedom. I'm stuck here, planning the same festival every year, watching David's company crumble. I see Mom showing off. Your Instagram posts, and it's like I'm failing at everything you're winning. Her confession cracks something open, like the snow softening underfoot. I never thought Sarah, with her perfect Pinewood life, could feel small next to me. The Christmas lights on their screen seem to glow a little closer, like they're trying to reach me. Mom shifts, her hands clasped tight. Anna, I didn't see how much I hurt you, she says, her voice wavering. I pushed you because I was scared you'd leave us behind, like I left my own dreams behind. I see her younger, holding a letter from Chicago, her chance to leave Pinewood slipping away as she chose to stay for Sarah. The image aches. A piece of Mom I never knew. You never told me that, I say, my voice soft, the hurt mixing with something new. We're trying. Anna, Dad says, his voice warm but firm, like he's holding the family together through the screen. We've got to keep at this. Grandma. Eleanor leans forward, her silver hair catching the light. Healing takes time, she says, her tone steady, like she's seen 100 family fights and knows the way through. But you've all started by showing up. The snow outside my window falls lighter now, almost gentle, like it's giving us room to breathe. Dr. Ellis's voice cuts through, calm and clear. This is a start. Let's keep naming what's true. I nod, my chest still tight but lighter, like a crack in the ice letting light through. The Christmas lights on their screen flicker, not quite reaching me yet, but closer than before. I'm not sure if we can fix this, but for the first time, I feel a flicker of hope, fragile as the snow outside. I'm back in my Seattle apartment, the Puget Sound shimmering under a thin veil of snow outside my window, lighter than the heavy drifts that buried me in Pinewood last Christmas. The laptop screen glows. Dr. Ellis's face calm and steady, her glasses catching the light as she guides us through another family therapy session. It's been a month since that first call, since Sarah's confession cracked something open and Mom's quiet admission about Chicago shifted the air. My stomach still churns, not as cold as that snowy night, but heavy with the weight of digging up old hurts. Dad's voice, firm and hopeful, keeps echoing in my head. We're trying, Anna. I want to believe him, but 3 years of feeling like an outsider don't vanish in a few Zoom calls. The screen splits into familiar Squares Pinewood's living room, the same worn couch where I used to read as a kid, now lit by a string of Christmas lights they haven't taken down. Dad sits forward, his hands clasped like he's holding the family together. Mom's beside him, her face softer but still guarded, her fingers twisting a napkin. Sarah's there, her blonde curls looser, her eyes less sharp but not quite open. Ethan and Laura sit close, their kids Sophie and Liam probably off playing. Their giggles faint in the background. Grandma Eleanor's in her armchair, her silver hair glowing under the lights, her presence steady as a rock. David's next to Sarah, his gaze fixed on his hands, quiet as always. Dr. Ellis's voice cuts through my headphones, clear and patient. What does Anna need to feel seen? I take a breath, the snow outside my window falling so light it barely sticks. I've always been the odd one out, I say, my voice steady but raw. Even as a kid, it was Sarah's cheerleading trophies, Sarah's straight A's, Sarah's perfect life. My newspaper articles, my dreams of leaving Pinewood, they got a pat on the head. Maybe that's nice, Anna. but never the pride Mom gave Sarah. I came back for Christmas thinking it'd be different. But I got a sweatshirt to sizes too small, and a door slammed in my face. The words spill out, heavy as the snow that night, and I see it again, family. Dinners where Mom's eyes lit up for Sarah's stories, leaving mine in the shadows. I was 10, showing Mom my first published story. Her smile thin as she said, "Sarah's got a game this weekend." The memory burns, as fresh as the cold that clung to me on that porch. I just wanted to be part of this family, I say, my voice cracking. But it's like I've been erased. Mom's face flinches on the screen, her hands stilling. Sarah looks down, her fingers picking at her sleeve. Dad's eyes are wet, his jaw tight. The Christmas lights behind them flicker, their glow a little closer now, like they're trying to reach me across the miles. Dr. Ellis leans forward, her voice gentle but firm. "Sarah." What do you hear in Anna's words? Sarah's quiet for a long moment. The silence thick even through the pixels. Snow falls lighter outside my window, like it's waiting for her to speak. "I had to be perfect," she says finally, her voice breaking, like the snow outside melting for the first time. "If I wasn't the golden child, I'd lose everything Mom's. Pride, Pinewood's approval, my place here. I saw you leave, Anna, and live your life without all that weight. It made me feel small." Her words hit like a quiet shock, peeling back a layer I never saw. I picture Sarah in high school, always smiling, always perfect, but carrying a weight I didn't understand. I remember her calling me once, her voice shaky, asking for advice when Sophie was born. I was buried in work, missed the call, and never followed up. The guilt stings, sharper than the snow outside. "I didn't know you felt trapped," I say, my voice soft. "I thought you had it all." Mom shifts, her eyes glistening. "I didn't realize how much I leaned on Sarah," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I put so much on her because she stayed, because she was like me. I didn't see how it pushed you away, Anna." I see Mom younger, standing in Pinewood's snowy streets, a Chicago job offer crumpled in her hand, choosing family over her dreams. The image aches, a piece of her I never knew. "You never told me," I say, the hurt mixing with something softer, like the snow outside. "My window. We're here because we want you back," Dad says, his voice warm but steady, like he's been holding onto this for years. "We've got to keep trying." Grandma Eleanor leans forward, her silver hair catching the Christmas lights. "Families work, not magic," she says, her tone firm but kind, like she's seen too many fights to believe in easy fixes. "You're all here, so you're already doing it." Dr. Ellis nods, her glasses glinting. "This is progress. Keep naming what's true." The snow outside my window falls so light it's almost gone, like it's giving us space to breathe. The Christmas lights on their screen glow a little brighter, not quite reaching me yet, but closer than they've ever been. My chest is still, tight, the hurt of yours not gone, but there's a flicker of hope now, fragile as the flakes outside. I'm not sure if we can fix this, but for the first time, I think we might try. I'm hunched over my laptop in my Seattle apartment, the Puget. Sound outside my window catching the last of a fading snow flurry. So light it barely touches the ground. It's been 2 months since that Christmas dinner. Since Sarah's confession about her jealousy and Mom's quiet truth about Chicago. Cracked open something raw in our family. The laptop screen glows with Dr. Ellis's calm face, her glasses, glinting as she steers us through another therapy session. My stomach still knotted. Not as heavy as that snowy night in Pinewood, but tight with the weight of hoping for something that might not last. Dad's voice keeps echoing. In my head, steady and warm. "We're here because we want you back." I want to believe it, but years of feeling like an outsider don't just melt away like snow. The screen splits into Square's Pinewood's living room. The same old couch sagging under the weight of years. Christmas lights still strung up like. They're holding on to the holiday. Dad's there, leaning forward, his hands clasped like he's trying to keep us all together. Mom sits beside him, her face softer now, her fingers no longer twisting napkins. Sarah's curls are loose, her eyes less guarded, like she's letting something go. Ethan and Laura are close, their kids Sophie and Liam's giggles drifting. From somewhere off-screen, Grandma Eleanor's in her armchair, her silver hair glowing under the lights, her presence steady as ever. David's next to Sarah, still quiet, his hands folded. Dr. Ellis's voice comes through my headphones, patient but pointed. What does trust look like for you, Anna? I take a breath. The snow outside my window so faint it's more mist. Then flakes. I want to believe we can fix this, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. But it's hard. Growing up, I was always on the outside Sarah's trophies, Sarah's grades. Sarah's life got all the shine. My stuff, my dreams, they got a nod at best. I came back for Christmas hoping it'd be different, but I got a door slammed in my face and a sweatshirt that didn't fit. I've been trying to hold onto this family from 3,000 miles away, but it's like I'm shouting into the wind. The words spill out, heavy as the snow that buried me that night. I see it again Thanksgiving when I was 16. Everyone laughing over Sarah's latest cheerleading win while my newspaper article sat ignored on. The fridge, the memory stings, as sharp as the cold on that pinewood porch. I just want to be seen, I say, my voice cracking. Not as the one who left, but as part of this. Mom's eyes glisten on the screen, her hands still. Sarah looks down, picking at her sleeve, her face softer than I've ever seen it. Dad's jaw tightens, like he's carrying the weight of my words. The Christmas lights behind them flicker. Their glow a little closer now, like they're trying to bridge the miles. Ethan clears his throat, his voice breaking the silence. I should have spoken up sooner, he says, his words quiet but heavy. I saw how Mom leaned on Sarah, how it pushed you out, Anna. I stayed quiet, and that wasn't fair. His admission catches me off guard, like a crack in the ice letting light through. I picture Ethan at those family dinners, always neutral, never picking a side. But his silence was its own kind of choice. Thanks for saying that, I say, my voice soft, the hurt easing just a fraction. Dr. Ellis nods, her glasses catching the light. Sarah, what's trust look like for you? Sarah takes a breath, her voice low. I looked at your work, Anna. It's good, really good. Her words are simple, but they hit like a quiet shock. I remember her call years ago, when I was too buried in work to answer, and the guilt stings again. I've been so caught up in keeping everything perfect here, she says. I didn't see how much I was pushing you away. Her confession feels like snow melting, slow but real. My phone buzzes later that night. A text from Sarah. Saw your Westbrook project online. Impressive. It's small, but it's a crack in the wall between us, like the snow outside my window thinning to mist. Mom leans forward, her voice shaky. I want to know your world, Anna, she says. I've been so focused on Pinewood, on Sarah. I didn't see you. I see Mom younger, standing in Pinewood's snowy streets. A Chicago job offer crumpled in her hand, choosing family over dreams. The image aches, softer now, like the snow outside my window. I like that, I say, my voice barely above a whisper, a flicker of hope mixing with doubt. We're not giving up, Dad says, his voice warm but firm, like he's holding the family together through the screen. Grandma Eleanor nods, her silver hair catching the Christmas lights. Families built, not born, she says, her tone steady, like she's seen enough fights to know what holds. Dr. Ellis's voice cuts through, calm and clear. You're building trust, step by step. The snow outside my window is barely there now, just a whisper of flakes, like it's giving us room to grow. The Christmas lights on their screen glow brighter, almost reaching me across the miles. My chest is still tight, the hurt of years lingering, but there's a warmth now, fragile as the snow outside. I'm not sure if this will last, but for the first time, I feel like we're actually trying. 1 year later, I stood on the snowy porch of my childhood home in Pinewood, Michigan. No hesitation this time before ringing the doorbell. The snow fell softer than last year, like the hope I carried wasn't so heavy anymore. The white lights traced the porch, same as always, and Dad's hand-carved nativity scene stood proud by the steps, dusted with fresh flakes. My breath made small clouds in the crisp air. Not as biting as that night when Sarah's words slammed the door in my face. A year of therapy with Dr. Ellis, of Zoom calls and hard truths, brought me back here, to this same porch, with a cautious belief that things might be different. The Christmas tree's lights glowed through the frosted glass, warm and inviting, not taunting me this time. My stomach churned, but lighter, like maybe I could belong again. The door swung open, and Dad stood there, wearing a goofy Santa apron I sent from Seattle. His grin wide as the Puget Sound. "You're home, honey," he said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of coffee and pine. The warmth of it caught me off guard, like the snow outside falling soft and true. I stepped inside, the house wrapping round me like a memory that didn't hurt anymore. The hallway's photos were updated me in Seattle with the Space Needle. Behind, a group shot from my summer visit, even a picture of Sarah and me last spring, laughing over coffee at Pinewood's diner. The Christmas tree stood in its corner, lights twinkling, ornaments telling 40 years of Harper family stories. And this time, I felt like I was part of them. The dining room hummed with chatter, and the smell of roasted turkey, sage stuffing, and Grandma Eleanor's sweet potato pie. The table was set with Mom's fancy china, hand-painted flowers gleaming under the chandelier. Mom arranged cranberry sauce, her smile hesitant but real, not the clipped duty of last year. Ethan and Laura wrangled Sophie and Liam, who giggled over their napkins. Uncle Henry and Aunt Clara sipped wine, their laughter easy. Sarah sat at the far end, her curls loose, her green dress softer than last year's sharp velvet. David nodded beside her, quieter but relaxed. Grandma Eleanor sat at the head, her silver hair glowing, her presence steady as ever. The snow outside fell light, like it was welcoming me instead of shutting me out. "My darling girl," Eleanor said, her voice warm, pulling me into a hug that smelled of lavender. I sank into it, the ache of last year fading a bit. Sophie ran over, wrapping her arms around my legs. "You're staying, right, Aunt Anna?" she asked, her eyes big and hopeful. I smiled, my throat tight. "For a bit, kiddo," I said, ruffling her hair. We sat, the table alive with clinking plates and soft chatter. The Christmas lights flickered, their glow wrapping around me now, not taunting from a distance. Mom passed the rolls, her eyes meeting mine. "I'm proud of you, Anna," she said, her voice quiet but steady. "That Westbrook account you landed, it's a big deal." Her words hit like a warm shock, a piece of her I never thought I'd hear. I saw her in those therapy calls, slowly opening up, asking about Seattle like she meant it. "Thanks, Mom," I said, my voice soft. The knot in my chest loosening. Sarah leaned forward, her smile real, not sharp. "I got that job, Anna," she said, "part-time marketing for the tourism board. Thanks for the tips." Her words landed like a bridge across the miles. I pictured our late-night texts, her sending resumed drafts, me sending back notes, a slow stitching of something broken. "That's awesome, Sarah," I said, meaning it. The snow outside fell lighter, like it was cheering her on. Dad raised his glass, his eyes wet but bright. "To family," he said, his voice warm. Not perfect, but trying. The clink of glasses filled the room, the Christmas lights glowing brighter. Like they were mine too. I thought back to those therapy sessions, the hard hours of naming hurts, Sarah's jealousy, Mom's regrets, Ethan's silence. It wasn't easy, those calls where we tripped over truths, but it brought us here. To this table where I didn't feel like a stranger. And Anna, look, Sophie said, holding up a crayon drawing of our family, me right in the middle. Her, lines shaky but sure. I smiled, my chest tight with something good. Grandma Eleanor patted my hand, her voice low. Family's never perfect, but it's ours, she said, her silver hair catching the lights. I nodded, the snow outside falling so soft it was barely there, like it was done burying me. I stepped onto the porch later, the air crisp, the lights twinkling against the snow. The nativity scene stood steady, Dad's handiwork holding fast. I'm starting to believe we're family again, not just in pictures, but in the messy, real way that matters. The Christmas lights glowed behind me, their warmth reaching me at last. The Christmas lights glow through the windows of my childhood home in Pinewood, Michigan, wrapping me in a warmth I haven't felt in years, but a small knot in my stomach keeps whispering, will this last? It's my second day back for Christmas. A year after that brutal night when Sarah's words slammed the door in my face. The living room's alive with the hum of family, the smell of roasted turkey, and Grandma Eleanor's sweet potato pie lingering from dinner. The Christmas tree stands tall in its corner, lights twinkling, ornaments dangling with 40 years of Harper family stories. And this time, I feel like I'm woven into them. Snow falls outside, light and soft, not burying me like last year, but dusting the ground like it's cheering us on. I'm sprawled on the floor with Sophie and Liam. There, giggles filling the room as we build a wobbly tower of wooden blocks. The same ones I sent last Christmas. Sophie, 5 and all energy, stacks a block too fast, and the tower topples. Her laugh bright as the lights above us. Play with us, Aunt Anna, she says. Her eyes big and hopeful, like she's claiming me as hers. Liam, 3, shoves a block my way, his grin wide. I ruffle his hair, my chest tight with something good. Something I didn't know I could feel here again. I see last year's dinner. The wine stain on the carpet. Sarah's sharp jab. Always making a mess, Anna. That memory stings, but it's softer now, like the snow outside. Sarah's sitting on the couch. Her curls loose, her smile warm, not sharp like it used to be. I'm really glad you're here, Anna, she says, her voice quiet but real, like she's been holding onto it. I picture our texts over the year, her sending me drafts of her resume, me sending back tips, her telling me about her new part-time marketing job with the tourism board. It's not Seattle, but it's a start, she says, her eyes meeting mine. No edge this time. Her words land like a bridge across the miles, steady and new. You helped, she adds, and I nod, my throat tight, the knot in my chest loosening. Mom's in the kitchen, ranging leftover pie on a tray. Her movements slower, more open. She steps into the room, her eyes catching mine. You've built something amazing in Seattle, Anna, she says, her voice steady, like she's been practicing it. Tell me about it. Her words hit like a warm shock, a piece of her I never thought I'd get. I see her in those therapy calls, asking about my life, learning to listen instead of steering the talk to Sarah. It's busy, rainy, but there's this spot by the sound where I think. I say, my voice soft. You'd like it. She smiles, real and tentative, like she's meeting me for the first time. Dad's by the Christmas tree, adjusting an ornament, his Santa apron still on, his grin wide as ever. This is your home, Anna, he says, his voice warm, like he's been holding on to this for years. I see him in those Zoom sessions, pushing us to keep going, his voice steady through every hard truth. The lights flicker, their glow wrapping around me, not taunting anymore. Ethan and Laura are on the floor with us, helping the kids rebuild the tower, their laughter easy, like they're making up for lost time. Ethan catches my eye, his nod quiet but sure, a far cry from the silence he used to hide behind. Laura's smile is warm, like she's always known I belonged. Grandma Eleanor sits in her armchair, her silver hair glowing under the lights, her presence steady as the pines outside. "Family is what you make it," she says, her voice low and firm, like she's seen enough fights to know what holds. I think back to those therapy sessions. The hours of naming hurt Sarah's jealousy, Mom's regrets, Ethan's silence, my own running away. It wasn't easy, those calls where we stumbled over truths. But it brought us here, to this room where I don't feel like a stranger anymore. Sophie tugs my sleeve, holding up another drawing. This one of me and her building. Blocks, crayon lines shaky but full of heart. "For you and Anna," she says, her grin wide. I take it, my chest tight with something good, like the snow outside falling soft and true. The smell of pie and pine fills the air, a reminder of Christmases I thought I'd lost. I'm starting to believe we're family again, not perfect, but real in the messy way that matters. Later, I step onto the porch, the air crisp, the snow dusting the ground like it's done burying me. The nativity scene stands steady, Dad's handiwork holding fast. My phone buzzes. A text from Maya. "Big idea for us. Girl, let's connect Seattle and Pinewood." I smile. The lights twinkling behind me, their warmth reaching me at last. The snow falls light, like it's whispering about new beginnings. And I think maybe, just maybe, I can build something that holds both my worlds together. The Christmas lights glow soft in the living room of my childhood home in Pinewood, Michigan. There, warmth wrapping round me like a blanket I thought I'd lost. The snow falls light outside, dusting the ground. Not heavy like that night a year ago when Sarah's words shut me out. I'm sitting on the floor with Sophie and Liam, their giggles bouncing as we string the last of the popcorn for the Christmas tree. The ornaments dangle, telling 40 years of Harper family stories, and I'm woven into them now. Not a shadow anymore. My stomach's got a small knot. Not heavy like last year, but whispering. This is real. A year of therapy, of Zoom calls, and hard truths brought us here, to this messy, true family I'm starting to believe in. Sophie, 5 and all spark, loops a popcorn chain around my neck, laughing like it's the best joke ever. "Don't go, and Anna," she says, her eyes big and bright. Liam, 3, piles popcorn in my lap, his grin wide as the Puget Sound. I ruffle his hair, my chest tight with something good, something I didn't know I could feel here again. I see that night last Christmas, the wine stain on the carpet, Sarah's. Sharp jab, always making a mess, Anna. The memory's there, but softer now, like the snow outside falling gentle and true. Sarah's on the couch, her curls loose, her smile warm, like the lights above us. "I want in on that project, Anna," she says, her voice quiet but sure, like she's stepping across a bridge we've built. We've been texting about it, my idea to pitch a marketing campaign tying Seattle. Texting to Pinewoods. Tourism board, a way to blend my two worlds. "Your stuff's good," she says, her eyes meeting mine. No edge this time. Her words land like a promise, solid and real. I nod, my throat tight. "We'll make it work," I say, meaning it. Mom's in the kitchen, setting out coffee and pie. Her movements easy, not clipped like before. She steps into the room, her eyes finding mine. "You're my daughter, Anna," she says, her voice warm, like she's been holding onto it. "That Seattle life you've built, it's something special." Her words hit like a soft shock, a piece of her I never thought I'd get. I see her in those therapy calls, learning to ask about my world, letting go of the need to center Sarah. "Thanks, Mom," I say, my voice soft, the knot in my chest gone. Dad's by the tree, fiddling, with an ornament, his goofy Santa apron still on, his grin wide as ever. "You're home, always," he says, his voice warm, like he's been carrying this for years. I see him in those Zoom sessions, pushing us to keep going, his voice steady through every hard truth. Ethan and Laura are on the floor with us, helping. The kids with the popcorn, their laughter easy, like they're making up for lost time. Ethan's nod is quiet but sure. Laura's smile warm, like they've always known I belonged. Grandma Eleanor sits in her armchair, her silver hair glowing under the lights. Her presence steady as the pines outside. Family's the work of. Loving, she says, her voice low and firm, like she's seen enough fights to know what lasts. I think back to that year Sarah's jealousy spilling out. Mom's regrets about Chicago. Ethan's silence breaking. My own running away. It wasn't easy, those calls where we named the hurts, but it brought us here. To this room where I'm not a stranger anymore. The smell of coffee and sweet potato pie fills the air. A reminder of Christmases I thought I'd lost. Sophie tugs. My sleeve, her latest drawing in hand our family, me in the middle. Crayon lines shaky, but full of heart. I take it, my chest tight with something good. Like the snow outside falling soft and true. We're family, messy and true. Not perfect, but real. I step onto the porch later, the air crisp. The snow dusting the ground like it's done burying me. The nativity scene stands steady. Dad's handiwork holding fast. My phone rings, Maya's. Voice bright through the line. Let's make this big, Anna. Seattle and Pinewood, together. I smile. The Christmas lights glowing behind me. Their warmth wrapping me up. The snow falls light, whispering new beginnings. And I know I'm home in both my worlds, messy and true.